Good evening. Given a choice, would you rather grow in a greenhouse or in a forest? Imagine, you are opening a door, you step inside, everything is perfect, the air is still, the temperature never changes, every flower is the same height, every plant stands in a perfectly straight line, no weeds, no surprises, no mistakes, everything is controlled, everything is predictable, it feels safe. Now, close that door. You open another one. Immediately, a cool breeze brushes across your face. The ground beneath your feet is uneven. Sunlight breaks through towering trees. Nothing grows in straight lines. Some trees lean, some twist, some bend. Yet, every one of them is reaching towards the light. Ladies and gentlemen, the difference between those two places is the difference between two classrooms. Every single morning, millions of teachers walk into classroom carrying books, lesson plans, and laptops. But they also carry something much more powerful. A choice. Will this classroom become another greenhouse or will it become a forest? A greenhouse produces students who know the right answers. A forest produces people who know how to find them, and I believe we need a fewer perfect answers and far more curious minds. Unfortunately, many classrooms still resemble greenhouses. The teacher speaks, students copy, success is measured by neat handwriting, correct answers, and examination scores. Everything looks wonderful on paper until the graduation day. Because life doesn't hand us multiple choice question. Life asks question with no answer sheet. Life changes the rules halfway through the game. Life throws storms we are never prepared for. And suddenly, the perfect plant struggles. Not because it is not intelligent, but because it has never learned how to bend, never learned how to question, never learned how to grow without instruction. Now, compare that with the forest. The forest isn't perfect. It is messy, it is unpredictable. But every tree learns resilience. Every root learns to search deeper. Every branch learns to reach obstacles. That is exactly what education should do. It shouldn't produce identical students. It should develop unique human beings. And sometimes, transformation begins with just one question. Imagine a teacher standing in front of a classroom full of exhausted students and asks, "Does everyone understand?" Silence. Pen continue to write. Now imagine another teacher asking, "What do you think?" Suddenly, hand rise. Ideas emerge. Different opinions collide. The classroom comes alive. One teacher checks understanding. The other teacher creates understanding. One teacher asks students to obey. The other teacher invites them to belong. That is the difference between a greenhouse and a forest. My dear audience, I know this is different because I've lived it for many years. I wasn't the confident speaker standing before you today. I was the quiet student hiding in the last few rows of the classroom. Have you ever known the answer but been too afraid to raise your hand? Have you ever looked around the classroom and thought everyone else is smarter than me? I certainly did. School wasn't exciting, it wasn't inspiring, it was frightening. Every question felt like a trap. Every mistake felt like a failure. I became good at one thing, remaining invisible. Until I met this one teacher in Form 5. She planted a seed of confidence, a seed of courage, a seed that would quietly grow long after I had forgotten the topic of that lesson. That day, my classroom stopped feeling like a greenhouse. It became a forest, and for the first time, I could finally breathe. As I stand here today, I often wonder, how many brilliant minds are still sitting quietly at the back of a classrooms? How many future scientists never ask their question? How many future investors never share their ideas? Not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack someone who believes in them. The truth is this: every teacher teaches a subject, but the greatest teacher does something far greater. They teach confidence, they teach courage, they teach possibility. That is the true curriculum of education. Dear audience, the classroom of tomorrow cannot be built using yesterday's mindset. Today, artificial intelligence can answer questions in seconds. It can summarize textbook. It can even generate essays. If knowledge is not available in a single click, then education can no longer be about memorizing information. Instead, education must help students ask basic questions and think more critically. It's not skill developed inside a closed greenhouse. They grow in forests, but forests do not appear by accident. Someone has to plant them, someone has to protect them, someone has to believe that every small seed has the potential to become something extraordinary. That someone is our teacher. And if we expect teachers to prepare students for a rapidly changing world, then we must prepare teachers just as well. We must invest in their professional learning. We must give them the time, the resources, and the freedom to innovate. Because teachers cannot inspire curiosity if they themselves are not given the opportunity to be curious. Around the world, many high-performing education systems have already embraced this philosophy. Countries such as Sweden place a strong emphasis on student well-being, critical thinking, and trust in teachers. Rather than focusing solely on memorization, they encourage exploration and meaningful learning experiences. Here in Malaysia, we are fortunate to believe in providing education for every child through our public school system. Now, let us take to the next step. Let us continue strengthening the partnership between school, parents, and communities. Let us empower teachers with a greater professional autonomy. Let us create classrooms where asking why is celebrated just as much as answering why. Because education should never be about producing identical students. It should be about discovering unique human beings. Remember the two doors I invited you to open at the beginning of this speech? One led to a greenhouse, the other to a forest. The greenhouse looked beautiful, predictable, comfortable, but it could never prepare the plants for the storm of life. The forest was different. It was untidy, sometimes uncomfortable. Yet, every tree grew stronger because of the wind. Every root grew deeper because of the struggle. Every branch reached higher because it had room to grow. Our children deserve a classroom like that. Classroom where mistakes become stepping stone, where questions are celebrated, where every child discovers that their voice matters. Because one encouraging word from a teacher can become a lifetime of confidence. One moment of belief can change an entire future. So tomorrow, when teachers unlock the doors to their classrooms, I hope they remember this. They are not simply opening another room. They are opening an ecosystem where every word they speak becomes sunlight, every act of kindness becomes rain, and every student becomes a seed with unlimited potential. So, let us move beyond the safety of the greenhouse. Let us embrace the beauty of the forest, because when we stop asking students to grow in the same direction and start giving them the freedom to grow on their own, we do not simply change education, we change life, we change communities, and together, we change the future. Thank you for listening.